Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Lex Talks Stuff podcast. And today I have with me, well, one guest at the moment, but we will have two special guests today. It's a bit of a crossover. Today I have two hosts that have their own podcast called Connery Curious. And these guys, they talk about the filmography of the late, great Sir Sean Connery. I've been on their show a couple of times. I highly recommend that you go and see it, check it out. And yeah, and so before our second host comes in, Mario, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, yeah, man. Pleasure to be here. Yes, this is Mario from Connery Curious, and yeah, exactly. You described it perfectly. We talk about every movie Sean Connery has done, which you would think there's not that many, but there's surprisingly so many, and it's crazy. We're almost done, Lex. Like we were looking at the list the other day, and we're like very close to the end of the list. We've been doing this for like over. I don't know, a year, 2 years. I'm sure when Dylan comes in, he'll know better than me. But yeah, man, it's been a blast to do that, and yeah, a blast to be here. I'm excited to hang out and talk stuff. I'm really excited.
Yes, and you also have your own podcast outside of Connery.
Yeah, it's several podcasts, like three podcasts together. I do the Connery Curious. I also have the Friggin' Nerds podcast, which is through Friggin' Nerds Media, which we do a lot of nerd talk there, and we also have a Twitch channel and all that, and on YouTube. And I do another one called Wrestling's Real, where we cover different wrestling podcasts from different eras. We just did one last night recording. That'll be coming out soon. It was what was it? Bad Blood, the very first Hell in the Cell match of Bad Blood, the introduction of Kane. So that's gonna be coming out very soon. Next one, we do one a month, which is great because I do two podcasts, one each week, and then we have the next Wrestling's Real, which is once a month. So a lot of podcasting going on, a lot of microphones in my face, but it's a lot of fun. I love doing it. It's a good time.
Yeah, so with your schedule, like what do you do? Do you do um one podcast one week, one podcast the next week, and then work your way around to getting to um like the third one like every month?
Yeah, so it depends on what's going on that week. Like for instance, this week was like Friggin' Nerds podcast is every Tuesday. We record that live on Twitch on our Friggin' Nerds Media Twitch. So we'll record that live. We have a live, audience in the chat, and then when we finish that up, I'll rip the file and I'll, put it together on Wednesday, and then Thursday put the show out on Spotify and stuff, so people could listen who weren't there live. So I take those Wednesdays and Thursdays as like either Connery Curious or Wrestling's Real days. This week happened to be like a thick week where we had Friggin' Nerds podcast hanging out with you today. I think we're doing a Connery Curious later tonight. I did a Wrestling's Real last night, so this happened to be a crazy podcast filled week, which was awesome. It's always fun to keep busy. So yeah, I try to kind of keep that schedule going because I'm also streaming a lot too. I'm like a full-time streamer with Friggin' Nerds Media. So I'm like, I'll stream on Monday, we'll stream on Tuesday with the podcast, rip that again, blah blah. I'll sometimes work on Wednesdays, but if that's a Connery Curious day, I'll be like, hey Dylan, let's do it on Wednesday night and stuff. So yeah, it's like being Spider-Man, I'm like taking care of all these crimes, but I also got to make sure Aunt May has her like rent paid. It's insane, man. But it's a lot of fun, and hard work pays off in the end. So it's like makes me feel good, man. It's good stuff.
No, oh God. Hi, Peaches. My dog decided to enter the show.
Peaches.
Yes, this is Peaches. Say hi, Peaches.
Oh my God, look at that little face. Oh my God.
All right. All right. All right. So yeah, sorry about that. Hop right on here.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she can stay here. Uh, but so, uh, God. So, and there she goes. Now you've
Uh,
met Peaches.
there we go.
So, yeah, and one of the subjects that we're going to be talking about today, you were talking about like Spider-Man in your own way. We'll be talking about Spider-Man adjacent because today we're going to be talking about, comic books and
Yes.
like some of our favorite like runs, some of our favorite characters and favorite series. I'm sure when Dylan gets on here, he's gonna have probably some runs of like stuff I haven't read. Like he reads more indie than I do. Like I read a
Mm.
lot more mainstream.
Yeah, Dylan from what I can me and Dylan have known each other since college. Went to New England Tech together, and that was in 20 it was 2011, 2012, I believe. Um and meeting him was, by fate, I guess, because I kind of heard him. He was talking to another fellow friend of ours, Sean Murphy, who was also on Connery Curious at one point,
Yeah.
and they were talking about like music and like other things like that. We kind of clicked, and then we found out we both liked comic books and stuff. But he would turn me on to a lot of different stuff that I never had heard about, and so he'd like kind of like bring me a stack of books. He's like, check this out, man. Borrow for however long you want, and then
Mhm.
let me know how you feel. And just like interesting shit, man. Because I was always kind of stuck with the same stuff. Like I stick to my Spider-Man and my Fantastic Four and X-Men and everything. But he's like, check out he showed me Image Comics and he
Mhm.
showed me like other stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know there was an Indiana Jones comic book. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was like, holy crap, these are things I love. Star Wars books that were through Marvel and stuff. And I'm like, holy crap, which a lot of people are starting to get smart to now because everything with the shows and everything, people are like very curious about different lore and they'll look for these books and they're like, oh wait, this is something that could have been done. Like the Obi-Wan show
Mhm.
was there was a Obi-Wan comic book from years ago that was tremendous. And like I remember when they announced the show, I'm like, I hope it's like this book. It was, I
Yeah.
forget what run it was, but it was like basically Obi-Wan during the event, like the events right after three, a few years after three.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Luke is like barely a kid, and like he's like 10 years old, 9 years old, and he's like slowly trying to influence his life, but like Owen is like, don't come near him. He's not going to be like his father. And it's fucking heavy metal shit, man. And I'm like, if the show is like this, halfway like this, it's going to be tremendous. Unfortunately, it didn't end up that way, but that's
Yeah.
a whole other conversation for a whole other podcast, that show.
Yeah.
But it was just like, it's really cool to kind of get smart with these different comic books that you might not have heard these stories before, man. It's cool to educate yourself on that before jumping into, say, a show. And it's fun to see like the connections of like, oh, maybe they took this from this inspiration.
Mhm.
It's so much fun. Comic books are such a fun medium for sure.
They're such a wonderful and yet awful medium all at the same time. Like they're so great, but also so frustrating.
Oh yes.
Like
Yes, I
I,
agree.
yeah, and everyone, here is Dylan Titus.
Dylan's
Hello,
here.
we're back. We're back.
Introduce yourself briefly.
Hi, I'm Dylan Titus. I'm the other half of. Wait, did you introduce our podcast, Mario?
I did.
Okay, so I'm the other half of the Connery Curious podcast. I was currently experiencing some technical difficulties. My computer was being glitchy and giving me glitchy audio and video and all that fun shit. So I just had to take a second to reset everything. But we're good now. And we're talking about comic books, are we?
Yeah, but before we like fully get into that and some of our favorite runs and series, I want to talk briefly about like my experience watching the first three James Bond movies.
Oh, what a
Oh,
time. What a time.
alrighty.
Yeah, so last month I watched Doctor No, From Russia with Love, and Goldfinger. Like that, I consider that like I guess you could consider that the original trilogy of Bond.
The original trilogy, yes. I would say so, yeah. It is kind of like New Hope. It is New Hope Empire Jedi in a way, where especially with Bond fans, people Goldfinger is very beloved, but From Russia with Love is probably one of the best film. As a
Yeah.
film, it's tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, I really did enjoy them. Truth be told, and this is, don't leave when I say this, I'm not the biggest Bond person in the world.
Hey, not
Well,
everybody
hey, you've
is.
only watched three of them, respectfully.
Yeah.
No, I watched one Roger Moore one. It
Oh, which
was
one?
The Man with the Golden Gun.
Oh, yeah, not a
Oh,
good choice.
Casino Royale with Daniel Craig,
a good
And
which I
choice.
yeah,
loved, which that might
good.
have been my first one. I really loved that one. I saw it when I was like in middle school, I think. And I saw Skyfall.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've seen six Bond movies. Well, six and a half. I watched one Pierce Brosnan movie. I was 5 minutes in, and I was like, I don't care about this, and moved on.
Okay. Which one?
Which,
Can we guess? I feel like we should guess.
okay, take a guess.
I'm gonna
I,
guess it was if you weren't into it for the first few minutes, I'm gonna guess it was
I
maybe
don't
Die
remember the
Another
name of
Day
it.
because all of them kind of start pretty
it,
explosive.
yeah, honestly, all three of the last three of the Brosnan ones of the four that he did are they start with bombastic action sequences,
Mhm,
whereas GoldenEye starts with a subdued action sequence.
mhm.
Was it him jumping off a dam? No,
No,
okay, because that's an amazing action sequence, and it's quiet and it's subdued.
Was it him surfing?
no.
Was it him, um, uh,
Wearing glasses and
in
they
an
triggered a
office?
bomb.
I think so.
Okay,
World's
that's
not
the world is
enough.
not enough, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it is that one.
Or what? Or was he at a military base and he's introduced by punching a guy who's lighting a cigarette?
It was one with Sean Bean and Famke Jensen.
So
Oh, that's
that's
GoldenEye.
GoldenEye. So
Okay, so I
you
saw
didn't.
Golden.
If you watch the first 5 minutes of it, Famke Janssen's not in the first 5 minutes of it.
Huh.
She's
So
early in it. She's early in it.
not 5 minutes.
No, no, no.
Well,
Well, no, it was more than five
it's not
minutes.
exactly 5 minutes. It's probably like
Okay.
the first half. But
Yeah,
yeah,
You
but
could
like,
be forgiven for turning off GoldenEye once you got to the music
yeah. I
in
mean,
the car, the music in the car chase. Excuse me.
yeah. I'll give it another shot. But yeah, I really liked the first three Bonds. Like, Doctor No, I did like. Like, I was like, this is a good, solid first Bond. I expected to really not like it. Um. I mean, I think that I now take something from Dr. No. So there was a period of time where my sister and I, where we had the house ourselves for like 3 days. My parents went away for a bit recently for their anniversary. And my sister's paranoid sometimes. She watches a lot of ghost story stuff. She loves Sam and Colby and their ghost hunting stuff. And she also was very weird of like intruders. I'm like, Kate, we live in one of the safest neighborhoods in Rhode Island. We live in North Situate. The only thing you need to worry is
oh,
coyotes. Like,
oh, I know you guys were all the way up there.
oh yeah,
Creative.
no. I live in the sticks. Like, oh,
Oh
closest
wow.
to the sticks. Yeah, but yeah, and what's funny is Tessa's dad lives down the road from me.
Oh really?
Yeah, he
Look at
lives
that. Meant to
down.
be.
So apparently she's been here for years and I never knew.
Wow. Meant to be. That's insane.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But yeah, so like we were by ourselves and I was trying to reassure Kate, it's okay, we're good, nobody's gonna break in. But like, what if somebody does? And but I also overthink, so that started getting to me. And so what I did was I took a strand of my hair, taped it to my doors and to the front
You
and
don't.
back
You
door
taped it.
just in case.
You
Yeah.
taped it. That's not what he does. He doesn't tape it.
Well, I taped it because I didn't think my saliva was strong enough to hold it down. That
Did
falling.
you try?
No, but I also didn't want to get spit on my parents' doors.
Fair enough. Oh,
Uh,
I'm sure you've gotten worse things on other parts of their house.
mm, but but so I but so yeah, I really enjoyed it. Uh, like Connery clearly is suppressing his accent in that, and not enough shh in
No
that.
SHs
He's
yet.
not
Yeah.
suppressing anything, I don't think. It's just not there yet.
Oh, I thought he was holding it back because I didn't hear his
No, he's
speech.
still young. He's
Yeah,
my age.
yeah. From what we like, kind of like figured out, it's been a real science experiment doing Connery
Yeah,
Curious. We kind of we looking at our list of like we do the SH rating of his accent and everything, and we kind of analyze it. We see how thicker it gets by our scores. Like as I think it's around, I think it's like mid 80s to like the early 90s when it starts
that's
to
when it
really
really thickens up. Yeah.
Yeah.
ramp up, and then you get clear obviously to like the early 2000s and whatnot. It's like we're off to the races. It's there, baby, and
I think
it's
Yeah.
our first
never
real 10
stopping.
was Highlander from
Mhm.
84 is Highlander?
Yeah, I think so. 84, 85, 84, I think.
Wait a second. Or is it 87? Highlander
It was the 80s.
Yeah.
is
The cocaine
86,
80s.
1986.
Right there. There it
So
is.
in 86 is when he gets a perfect 10 from both of us for the SH.
Yeah.
Mm.
But he's also playing an immortal Spanish
The
person?
Spaniard.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spaniard.
So,
Ugh.
but
Let's
he
see.
also, I think he says he's like from Egypt and he's like just most recently has spent hundreds of years in Spain or
Nothing
something.
about that movie makes fucking sense.
I love it though. That was one of our best.
It was a fun
That
episode.
was one of the best films we watched, I think, and I'm really looking forward to two.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
But yeah, and then I
so from
watched
Russia with Love,
From Russia with Love, which I think I liked the most.
it is the best of those three for
But I
sure.
also like there were a couple parts where I was like, we don't need this.
For sure.
There's a couple of parts like the two women fighting.
Yeah,
Like I was
for
like,
sure.
is this necessary? Do we need this?
Well, it was 1960. I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it in any way. It was 1963. It was. This is not me defending it at all, so please
Yeah,
don't take
yeah,
it as that.
that's good.
It was, look at this part of the world, isn't that interesting? And
Yeah,
granted, they were actors playing those roles, but it was more of the early Bond films are like travelogues.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Because people weren't, travel wasn't as easily accessible. Like, um, commercial flights were only, uh, it just wasn't, it wasn't something you did often was go to Jamaica, or Aruba or Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. Um, but it was, yeah, like, I don't approve of a lot of the stuff in You Only Live Twice.
yeah.
Eric is flipping me off, double flipping me off right now. You taking off? That's all good, dude.
Yeah,
Drive safe. I'll see you later. I'll do some cleaning too. Okay. You'll be back later? All right, cool. Hit me up when you're coming back. Cool.
So
Um,
From Russia with Love, like it has a couple moments. Like I'm one of those people that does not care particularly for romance in movies. Like
why?
I think I don't know. Maybe it's just because I was single for too long and then I was just all bitter about it. But
That's some incel shit, dude.
fair enough.
That's not
No,
healthy.
I think it's just that I think it's just I never found it that engaging, depending on like the couple. Like, I always like seeing Superman and Lois get together. I definitely had movies that I watched where I was like, kind of like the guy and the girl getting together. No, they're cute together. Let them get together. Like, I saw Disney original movies. So I had those, but they're just not up my alley,
Fair enough.
like when I watched The Karate Kid, I'm not watching it for Daniel to get with Allie. I'm watching it for Daniel to have this bond with Mr. Miyagi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so, and the Allie thing is more like a garnish for me personally. I know this is such a weird tangent and take. Oh, cool.
No, it's all good. Continue.
But it's such a weird tangent and take. But no, it is kind of fun with Bond, seeing him just be suave and like I think that's kind of fun because like I because Connery looks great in that movie. I think he's the best in From Russia
He's
with Love.
he's the sexiest in that and in Thunderball, I think.
Mm. I would like to
Mm.
watch that next. Uh,
That is the one that comes next. So
yeah. And but yeah, like even though it doesn't have a lot of action in it, there's just a lot of really cool set things. Uh like I enjoyed From Russia with Love. I did.
good.
Like,
That's the best of those first three, in the same way that Empire Strikes Back is.
mhm. Yeah.
You
Uh
said you made the original trilogy comparison earlier, so
yeah. But here's
and
where
as
we
much as people love Goldfinger, I don't love Goldfinger all that
neither
much.
do I. I don't love Goldfinger either.
I know Mario's a
I
bit
know
of a Goldfinger
Mario just
fan.
has like inner rage now. He's like, motherfucker,
No,
this
no, because
podcast again. I'm
no, it's
like, fair
like,
enough.
hey man, I'd rather defend Bond movies than Star Wars, man. I'm exhausted. I'm
Hey, I'll
retired from
defend
talking
The
about
Last
Star
Jedi.
Wars.
I'll defend
That's
Return of the Jedi.
I'll
before.
defend Return of the Last Jedi. Who returns?
Uh, there's all, yeah, but yeah, no, I love Goldfinger just for it's more than just like the movie itself. It's more sentimental because that's the first one I ever saw. My mom got me into the whole Bond realm, which was super interesting because usually I hear so many people like, "Oh man, my dad used to watch these movies when and I was a kid." Me, it was my mom, man. My mom would watch like these movies and like Steven Seagal movies and shit. Like
Oh,
just
really?
When
like
I
it
was at
was
your house on the
crazy.
4th, she was all excitedly talking to me about how we were doing the Connery Curious podcast and how happy it makes her that you like James Bond.
Yeah, she's like so like into Connery, man. Like in general, because she's like funny, she's hilarious because like she like I got her a tablet years ago, like so she could watch like movies and stuff on her Netflix and Hulu, and she'll always be like, "God damn it, I can't find The First Night anymore." That's her favorite movie. One of her favorite movies is
So
The
I'll
First
send
Night.
you the digital copy. Just put it onto onto the tablet for her.
Yeah, I should just do
Give
that.
her
But like,
access to the Connery Curious movie drive.
yeah, but I tried once. I sent her one of the Connery movies. What I send her? I sent her one of the movies and like it wouldn't open properly on the tablet. So I was kind of like, I'll put it
Uh,
on the TV for you.
uh,
But yeah, she's just so like yeah, she's one of those people who she'll watch First Night and every Connery Bond 1,000 times. And the Dark Knight. She loves the Dark Knight, like the
Oh,
second
really?
Batman film. She
the
loves
first
that
Dark
movie.
Knight,
Well,
the Dark First Knight.
sorry, the second movie in
Flash
the Dark Knight
Rachel.
trilogy.
No, no,
But
no, no, no. I was combining the two of them. The
oh, okay.
first Dark Knight
The first Dark Knight.
or the
Dark
Dark First Knight. Which one?
begins dark. Um, but
Begins and
yeah,
rises.
but yeah, she's like really into those movies, man. But like, yeah, it was, but like Goldfinger, just yeah, it's sentimental to me, and it's like, it's fun. But yeah, From Russia with Love still is also just tremendous film. Like, not even as a Bond film, but as a film in general is like, wow, it's so good. And, Dylan knows I love a movie with a train in it. If there's a
Yeah,
train
same.
involved. I'm in it. That's the only thing I loved about Spectre was that they're on a train for a few minutes.
There's a train in Goldfinger?
No, it's Spectre.
No, but
And From Russia with Love.
oh, from Russia.
I'm
I'm
talking about
sorry. I'm
From
sorry.
Russia with Love.
Forgive me. Forgive
Yeah.
me. Yes.
But yeah.
Um,
I love the opening thing to From Russia with Love. Like the projection onto the belly dancer. I was like, whoa, that's such a cool idea.
Oh,
Why
how about like the
not
title
do that?
sequence, like the whole
so
thing?
as you watch the series, these are the tropes that it's really fun to watch grow and evolve.
Yeah.
Like it's really fun to see how the title sequences evolve, how the theme songs evolve, how the use of the characters evolves. So like if you thought that opening title was cool, like you can see it's expanded on in Goldfinger. The Thunderball ones are underwater. Um, uh, they get cooler and cooler as they go on. One of my favorites is the Live and Let Die opening
Oh,
title
that one is
sequence
that one's so good.
with the flaming skulls.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
and like that's the fire and everything. Like the girls like dancing a little bit, like the six silhouettes, just like the technology, man. It's crazy. And then obviously more contemporary films, the newer ones are just
Beautiful CGI.
mind blowing. Like just so like I love that No Time to Die one, man, gets me excited every time because it starts with
Yeah,
the
it's
Doctor
a
No
throwback to
bubbles.
Dr. No.
But I
And
love
then
seeing the DB5 going into the water, then it's like in the sand. Like it's just
you
so cool.
you get all these little nods to the other films, like especially on Her Majesty's Secret Service. So you get like time the Union Jack slipping through an hourglass,
Hmm.
and
I want to see that fucking spear gun scene they cut, man. Remember in the trailer?
yeah,
We saw
yeah,
Daniel with the spear gun. I'm like, where was that, bro? I want to see
Oh,
that.
that would have been
It
cool.
was a nice little, it was like a little tease for us as
I can
like
imagine a lot got cut out of
Bond
that
fan.
film. I have yet to watch the bonus features.
Me either, yeah. So is there like a lot of deleted scenes in there
I
in the
don't know. I haven't
DVD?
watched it.
I gotta check it
I've yet
out.
to pop in the second disc.
Oh, we'll have to
I
check
have
it
a bad
out.
habit lately of not doing that. I'll watch the movie and then just not do the bonus features. When
You,
I was a
you,
kid,
you forget sometimes.
when I
yeah.
was a kid, I would go ham on them bonus features.
Oh, absolutely. Me too.
And watch it twice. I'd be like, I'm gonna watch The Cat in the Hat, then I'm gonna watch it with Alec Baldwin's commentary.
Of course.
Oh, it's so good. It's
Dude, I
tremendous.
remember building, like taking, like Sundays as a kid and just building Lego sets while just listening to the audio commentary of like Attack of the Clones in the background.
Yeah.
And all of them, like I would, there'd be like six commentaries from the actors and the producers and the, special effects people and whatnot, and then I would play all of them. And that was one of the things that got me into filmmaking,
Mm.
was hearing the different stories of these people. So,
Yeah, but yeah, Goldfinger might be my least favorite of the bunch, but there's still a lot of cool stuff in there. Like that's when the Bond one-liners start getting good, and we get like iconic stuff, uh like the laser on the table. That's where we get
Yeah.
that. I will
can you
say,
imagine how that happens if it goes through? Jesus Christ.
I will say I don't care about Pussy Galore. Like I could care less, and like I don't know. I didn't find her that interesting. I did think that part where she was like, I trained all of these women to fly. I thought that was cool, but I just didn't think.
Yeah, I would love to see a 2024 version of Pussy Galore. Like they'd make her
Yeah.
way cooler, you know? Which I mean we kind of got that in like some of the new
I mean,
stuff,
she's
like,
pretty
you
cool
know.
Yeah,
in Goldfinger. It's just
But then
her
the
fighting's
end,
the
impressive in
barn
there.
scene is what
Yeah,
ruins it all.
yeah, and then she
yeah.
becomes the damsel in distress and whatever, and it's like,
No, no, she
well,
saves the day. It's just
she's
how
stuck,
easily
she's tied up in her plane at the end of Fort Knox, remember?
is she?
Yeah,
No,
that's
she
true.
Yeah.
saves the day, right? She's the one that blows the gas, but it's fake gas, right? Forgive me,
That's
I'm not
right.
doing
That's
this.
right.
Oh
That's
yeah, she
right.
does that, but
Yeah,
still,
she's not a damsel in distress.
but she's
It's
stuck
just
in the
how easily
helicopter at the
she
end.
submits to Bond. Um she's clearly a lesbian for when she's introduced. And then they do then they do the flippy flippy in the barn,
Yeah.
and now she's just all Bond basically like takes advantage of her.
Yeah. I'm
And
not.
that's
I'm
the
not.
problematic part. And because of that, she's like it cures her. Because he takes advantage of her, it cures her lesbianism.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Um,
not defending that scene, but I will say if Sean Connery is right next to you, I think it would change anybody's sexuality.
I don't think that, I respectfully, but
I'm joking, but like you know what I mean.
I don't
But
know, man. I'm into him now. After doing his podcast, there's some of these movies. I'm like, damn, man, he looks like $1 million. It's
oh,
crazy.
for sure, for sure. But as we discuss on most of these episodes, at one point or another, like there's behavior that can't be forgiven
no,
Of
I
through
course.
time, for
understand.
sure. Like, and people have talked to us about that. Like, how can I've had people ask me, like, how can you do a podcast about a dude that admitted to beating women? And it's like, well, if respectfully, it's given a like, I don't. There's no defending that. He did that, and it's wrong. But there's so much more involved in filmmaking and the production of films, and we're gaining a wealth of knowledge about so many other films that we wouldn't have watched otherwise. That to go, nope, I'm not watching I'm robbing myself of potentially enjoying a film because that actor, that one, for lack of a better word, actor in this production
Mhm.
is problematic. Because this person is problematic, I now must write off the entire work of hundreds of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's tougher, you know?
Hmm.
So if it was like a solo artist, doing all this stuff themselves, then it'd be easier to write it off
Hmm.
and just be like, yeah, we're not gonna, like, I don't need to listen to any of the works of G.G. Allen because he was a scumbag and he never participated in anything larger than himself. Maybe he did if someone out there is listening and is like, yeah, that time G.G. Allen wrote a book of poetry for orphans and it like raised a bunch of money to build an orphanage or an orphanage, excuse me. Uh then let me know that I'm wrong. But like I don't because G.G. Allen never acted in any high caliber films, I can write off the man's work entirely. But like this to go to the J.K. Rowling thing, like she's problematic as fuck,
Hmm.
but you can enjoy especially the films because they're the work of hundreds of people,
Yeah.
most of whom you pray are not problematic.
Yeah.
At least they haven't proven themselves to be. Whereas you can be like, okay, I'm not going back to the books because those are solely her voice.
Yeah.
And finding out she's hateful, I don't need to go back to her voice. But the work of hundreds of talented people and artists to make a film, I can indulge in that still.
Hmm.
Well, let me ask you this. Can you separate art from artist?
That's just how I explained it
Yeah,
right there.
Well,
That whole
absolutely.
everything I just said
but
there was me separating art from artist.
well, I'm saying like in a way where they're so obviously at the center of it
I
that
just explained that.
well,
I just used G.G. Allen as an example. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
Yeah, so
yeah. Well, even like
I'm in the same mindset when I sit that, like I talk about a lot with like,
Wrestling
wrestling,
is full of problematic people.
Hulk
yeah,
Hogan would just showed up at a Trump rally, and
yeah.
he's actually
Eh,
now right now as we're talking, he's been going to different liquor stores. It's kind
Ugh.
of cool. Like
No, it's
his
not. Get
beer,
out of our state.
yeah,
Get out of
but
here,
but
scumbag. And Vince
anyways,
McMahon, I've been listening
Oh
to a
yeah.
podcast called Behind the Bastards. I've been listening to a 4-part episode on how terrible of a human Vince McMahon is.
there's a
A
Netflix thing coming
Yeah.
out.
4-part episode.
There's a Netflix docuseries coming out about this announced
Jesus
today.
Christ.
And
Oh,
he was
yeah.
terrible. He's the fucking worst. But yeah, that's a great example right there. Is like, obviously like Hulk Hogan and his bullshit. It's whatever, but I'm still gonna be like, holy shit, one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He's
Yeah.
like my God, iconic. I think about the same thing with Ted Nugent. He's a piece of shit of a person, but my God,
And a pedophile.
Stranglehold, yeah. And Stranglehold is one of the greatest riffs of all time. And when I was in the cover band, we split that track. You know what I mean? And it was like, I love those songs, but you got to kind of separate that a bit because like there's so much. I'm sure there's shit about Walt Disney we don't even fucking know, but
Yeah.
we still watch his movies. It's just that's just how you got to look at life. And because if you block yourself from everything and with JK, my community and friggin' nerds started with Harry Potter content with like we used to cover mobile game Harry Potter Wizards Unite. And yeah, we all knew about the shit going on with JK, but it's like we fucking love the Harry Potter world, man.
And
It's
she
so
didn't make that
awesome.
game.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
She
I
wasn't
mean,
the programmer who put
yeah,
her hours
exactly.
into that game.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, you got to separate that because if you block yourself from stuff like that because of the person behind it, you're gonna have a miserable life. It's like, geez, man, like you can't fucking enjoy anything because, that just, you gotta separate it, man. You gotta
Well,
separate it.
you brought up Ted Nugent.
Yeah.
I think I can distance myself from Ted Nugent because he's the leader of his band. So any band members around him are like acquiescing to his terribleness. And it's come out that he's a pedophile, I believe. Am I correct? Hold on.
Well, we've known that forever. I mean, the
Oh,
whole
okay.
thing with
Oh
the
yeah, it's like yeah,
he
she's like
married that
13.
girl or whatever, or like not married her, but like got like consent from her parents, to, like
Yeah,
sign
it's
some
something.
shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And Steven Tyler, same situation, same exact situation. He got the parents' permission. Then he got her pregnant and abandoned her. you
Yeah.
know?
Oh, I didn't know
And
that.
oh, it's awful. But
But you
yeah, the sad reality
but
is
you
like
still
it's
listen to Toys in the Attic. You still listen to
I
that
still
record, you
enjoy
know?
Dream On. Like we listened to Fly Away from Here when we were driving to Metallica and
Yeah.
we like and I'm sure something's gonna come out about Metallica at some point, you know?
Mhm.
Like I believe Trump was a James was a Trump supporter, you know? Um but but Ted Nugent, because of that, because he's the band leader and everyone, it's no one else's band but his. I can separate myself from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like another example to give is Kanye West.
Mhm.
I can listen to everything Kanye did before his endorsement of Trump.
Yeah.
Everything after that, seriously, once he started endorsing Trump, his music got way worse, like noticeably worse. Because once you sacrifice your morals, you're going to start sacrificing your artistic integrity too. So,
I mean, I'll be real with you. I always thought that after graduation I was done. Dark
oh,
Twisted was
I thought
good.
after graduation is when he did his best work.
Really?
Yeezus, I think, is still holds up as like a
Uh,
kind of a masterpiece of
Nah,
synth rap.
it's registration, college dropout, graduation, and Dark Twisted Fantasy is really good too. But like after that, I'm kind of like, I don't know, Eases is fine. I don't know. It just I wasn't into it. There's a certain flavor of hip hop that he was producing back then that I like.
Yeah.
I more tuned with, you know.
Oh yeah, and that's what got him famous too, was that
Sure,
the
yeah,
backpack rap that people could kind of identify with their
yeah.
frustrations of the time.
It was awesome. It was a great
Yeah.
time to be a hip hop fan at that point.
Yeah, you can't deny the quality of like songs like All Falls Down
Hmm.
or Roses, good shit.
Yeah.
Good
Well,
morning.
I mean, you also got like the same thing. Like currently there's allegations about Neil Gaiman, but does that mean that I can't like read Sandman anymore? Like, no, I like
You should still be able to enjoy a book if the author is gay.
what?
What? Neil Gaiman?
Oh,
Uh,
took.
Oh, is there a different controversy? I'm just kidding.
Uh,
And
took.
also, just
I
because that's his
was
name, I don't think that's what it means. That's exactly what he is. Like, just because someone is their last name is Johnson doesn't mean their dad's name is John. You know?
Yeah, but now that leads us into our other topic of today, some of our favorite like comic books and comic book runs. Now, like where do you guys typically go like for like comic wise? Do you prefer like Marvel, DC, Image, Dark Horse? Where do you guys go typically?
As an adult, Image. I don't mean that to be like to you, child. No, no, I literally mean like as an adult, I prefer Image comics. As a kid, I preferred Marvel.
Hmm.
And actually, like even, Mario, when you and I met, like I was more
I
reading Marvel at the time.
well, I was telling a story when you were connecting earlier. I said how like when we met in college, that like
W-
that was one of the things we kind of bonded over
One
was
of our first dates
comics.
was
The first
Avengers.
dates, yeah. But
I think
I was
that
talking
might have been
about
our first date.
probably, yeah, yeah, maybe, yeah, probably. But like,
Yeah.
I was telling the story that you kind of would like hand me stacks of Image comics and other stuff that like I may have not have ever read before, and like check these out. And I was like, okay. And you kind of broaden the horizon because I've always been a Marvel guy as well, DC as well. There's definitely a ton of like older Batman comics that I used to love. Dark Knight Returns is one of my favorite DC Batman books in general. I think that's why I got so excited when Ben Affleck his suit was first revealed. I'm like, that's the suit, man. That's the fucking Dark Knight Returns suit. They're gonna do it. Like I'm one of the few people that's like I really like that Batman, Affleck's Batman.
Oh, I do
Um,
too.
it was he deserved a little more. But I digress. But yeah, I was mostly a Marvel DC. I'm still a Marvel DC guy to this day, and I'll still dip into like Image and here and there. But it's so hard to like get into it nowadays because there's just it's almost too much now because I'm someone who like my job is I review like movies and like TV shows, and like sometimes we talk about like the comic books that inspire those. And it's like there's just so much to like dig into and like so much new stuff, and it's a lot to take into. So like when I go into a comic shop, I'm like I have to like look for a specific thing, and because then I'll be stuck going down a fucking wormhole of, oh man, I found this Power Rangers X TMNT line of books. I gotta read these now, and I'm veering off the Spider-Man one series I'm looking at right now. You know what I mean? It's just like it's a lot out there. There's so much out there.
Yeah. I mean, like with a lot of that stuff, I think also the problem with like some comics nowadays is that one, some of them are steeped in too much continuity that it's really difficult to get into. Like with Spider-Man, I'd say it's a little difficult now, especially like within the past 15 years. Because after Spider-Man One More Day, they basically reset everything. Uh, they like I'm sure you guys know the story of Peter selling his marriage to the devil, save Aunt May, and and then resets the status quo. And he and Mary Jane are no longer together, and then starts the brand new day era. And then from there, like it was written by like five different people. Like,
And none of that, as a reader of comics, like interests me unless the story is good.
yeah,
That's the only thing that matters with a comic book. If the individual story is inside of it is good. Uh, but and then there's the barrier of, forgive me, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
no, it's okay.
Sorry. Just talking about, because I know that that story is infamous, because it's bad.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, sorry, continue.
No, no, it's like, but yeah, like I'm just saying, like, if you're like, I want to start reading Spider-Man, and well, the current run that's going on by Zeb Wells is not good. It's not good. I've seen what's going on. It's terrible. And
Have you read it or have you seen it?
uh I've more seen it,
Okay, so
read
it
it.
might be good. You don't know.
I've been looking at what's been going on. I've been reading up on it, but like I also try not to read bad comics. Like I
Of course, who wants to waste their time reading bad things?
Yeah, like and I've done it for like a reading order and sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not. But but yeah, like the Zeb Wells stuff, it's not great right now. He's making a lot of decisions that I don't like. And then you got like another run before that that was just okay. And then you had like Dan Slott writing Spider-Man for 10 years. That like all the way from like Spider-Man Big Time to Superior Spider-Man to Spider-Verse to when he does Parker Industries. And now I
I
haven't,
haven't read a Spider-Man comic in so long.
yeah, I mean, I haven't read the Dan Slott era. I just know what happens and I want to get to it. But like that's a lot of reading.
There's only one. Let's talk about good comics. That's more interesting, I think.
Yeah.
There's only one comic that I will keep up with.
Hmm.
I don't care about any other comic series in terms of where it's at, if it's happening, if it's canceled, whatever. As long as that story is there available for me to read.
Hmm.
For example, I've said before, I think that Hollywood could stop producing all of these. Any film over $50 million, we could stop producing them, and we as a species wouldn't lose anything. And anyone that goes, well, what about I need a superhero movie? No, you don't. It exists. There's plenty of them. Have you watched them all? No, you haven't. Go watch them all. Do that. There's plenty that exists already. And that's not me trying to prevent art in the future at all. Just in the sense of like, at this point, I don't care what's being made. Like, hey, did you hear what happened in the Batman run? I don't really care unless it is so hugely revolutionary and connected to what's going on in today's world that it will blow my mind. Then I'm not gonna rush to it. And I haven't rushed to a comic in a while. But the last comic that and I need to rush back to this one because I miss it. The only forgive me, it's so long. The only comic that I've actively kept up with because I care about its continued existence is Saga by Fiona Staples and Brian K. Vaughan.
It's a
That
good
is the
one.
only one that I need to know what the characters are up to. Other than that, I have hundreds of comic books. I got a big shelf full of them over here. I got a shelf of them at home. I got a shelf in my storage unit. I got a tablet full of comic books.
Mhm.
I read them in whatever order I feel like. If it's a story arc that's going to be hundreds of issues that I want to consume, I'll wait till I want to consume it all and do it then. And like, okay, you know what? I'm just itching for Daredevil by Chris Samney and Mark Waid because that run is incredible.
I have it on my list.
So I read the whole thing because that's a run worth reading. A
Absolutely.
lot of Image comics. I'll read the whole run as much as I can, or I used to keep up with a lot of Image comics. Saga is an Image comic. Um, Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, they're a team to read.
Mhm.
Anything by those that by that team,
Yeah,
look
Killer Be
them.
Killed is amazing.
Kill or Be Killed. Yep, is phenomenal. Mario, have you ever read anything by that team? They did Kill or Be Killed, Criminal, Fatale, um, uh, Sleeper. They've done a few others, but their big one is Criminal.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, I never heard of those, no.
Phenomenal storytelling. Oftentimes just real life crime, sometimes mixed with supernatural. I really like Kill or Be Killed. Um, not for the least because or wait, for you know what I'm saying. One of the smaller reasons why I like that series is because the main character's name is Dylan and he tries to kill himself, which is how I was feeling at the time. Spelled the same
Gracious.
too. However, he survives a suicide attempt and then is haunted by a basically the devil going like, "All right, bitch, you survive because you tried to kill yourself and you survived. So now you've got to uh every once a month you've got to kill a person or I am going to kill you." And he doesn't believe it at first, and then at the end of the month he starts getting ridiculously sick, and then he kills a person, and the next day he feels better.
Gracious.
And but the person he killed is like tied into the Russian mob. So
Wow.
it's a 4 book series. So I think it's 16 issues.
Yeah, 16, 20.
Contain run. I prefer that for a story as well. I know Saga will end at some point,
Mhm.
um, and that makes it easier to read. And then the final thing that really makes a comic good for me has to be the art. If a comic has bad art, if the story could be the greatest story ever written, but if the art is bad, I will not read it because I won't want to look at it.
Yeah. That's why I don't
Um,
want to read the boys comic. The art looks weird to me.
yes, I'm not nuts about the art in the boys. I don't who does it? Who does the art in the boys?
Um,
Um
no. Um, but yeah,
the
like,
boys comic is
but there are certainly like,
Derek Robertson.
mhm.
And it's good art. It's definitely good, but I don't care for it. Look up the art of Howard Chaykin. Here I can pull it up and show you guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, you can screen share if you'd like. I think you have access.
cool. All right, so this is the art of Howard Chaykin.
Oh, wow.
And he used to be very good, but now his art is like painful to look at. Like it's very good. Like there's no doubt about it,
Mhm.
but like
It could be better.
who wants to look at characters that look like this all the time? Just all the time. I don't know. Like it's beautiful art. I'm not denying the quality of it. That's not him. But like look at that. That's so ugly. Like it's good looking art. It looks good, but it's also bad. You know what I mean? Like
Well, it's stylistic. I mean, how do you feel about John Romita Jr.?
I need to look at his stuff again because I prefer his stuff.
Yeah. Like, and he did most of the art on one of my favorite comic runs that's on my list here, the J. Michael Straczynski Spider-Man run. Like like they did some really good stuff together. Up
I
until
like that Spidey's design. I like the big eye, and I think Spider-Man has big eyes. I'm into it, like Ultimate Spider-Man almost. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
oh, love it.
I like John Romita Jr.'s work.
yeah. Like I think he's a great artist. It's very stylistic. I don't like his art that much now. I think it's gotten a little too loose and kind of sloppy at some places, but I do like his earlier work. Like I think it's great in the J. Michael Straczynski run with like Morlun, and Straczynski did a really cool thing of trying to get Peter and MJ back together. That was the whole point of like, I need to get Peter and MJ back together. And then Marvel forced him to do one more day. And he didn't even write the last issue of that.
You
He
really
was
got a
like,
hard on for this comic, huh?
yeah, yeah, like what for one more day? Yeah,
Yeah.
I hate it so much. Like the only good thing
So
is,
let's stop talking about it.
yeah, fair enough.
What's the only good thing?
But yeah, the J. Michael Straczynski run on Spider-Man, I highly recommend it if you haven't read it. I it like it J. Michael Straczynski takes Spider-Man who is in arrested development and helps mature him. Like he's in a dark place, but he's matured now. Like he's in his 30s. He's teaching at a midtown high. Like they were like, what's a good way for Peter to like help his community and like still be part of like science and whatnot? Have him be a science teacher. Like, and the run is like Mary Jane, uh, like coming to terms with like Peter being Spider-Man because it was slightly why they broke up or why they were separated for a bit. And then like they both realize how much they miss each other and that they'd come back to each other, and it's very organic and sweet and kind and really cool. Like it's just so cute. Like one of my favorite issues is like she's all the way in California doing a movie, he's all the way in New York, and then they're just like, God damn it, I miss him. And so Peter goes to LA, Mary Jane goes to New York, but they're not at each other's places. And then they're just like, damn it, where is he? And then they're like on their way to the airport. Like he comes back in, she's in, and then uh and then they just meet up and it's just this adorable like conversation. It's one of my favorite issues of that whole run, and it's entirely done by John Romita Jr.
Huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you can, do you have the issue?
I don't have it physically. Like some of the stuff I have, I have a few physical things and some digital things. I sometimes use some of the apps, but like I would love to. The No, I don't have the JMS run on my shelf, but it's highly recommended. And J. Michael Straczynski, he also did like a Fantastic Four run. He did a Thor run.
I will be revisiting some fan. I have a big collection of Fantastic Four books that I will be diving into in preparation for the film next year. Next year coming out,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah, it's next year.
Yeah, yeah. Forgot when, middle of next year, which
Hmm.
I'm excited about, man. Did you guys see
The
the
teaser.
behind the thing behind the
Yeah,
Oh
scenes
my God, he looks so good.
of
I
like,
love it.
yeah, like, oh, like it's the eyebrows that sell it to me,
Yep,
man. I'm
yep.
like
The
these,
droopy eyebrows. That's
yeah.
the very much the Mark Wade era
Yeah, so
design.
that makes me feel, the more I see of it, the more behind the scenes stuff I see, I'm like the more like positive I feel about it, because I was like really not into it. Like everyone, when the cast, I texted you, Dylan. It was on Valentine's Day.
Mm.
Yeah.
I was on my way to go see a fucking another tremendous Marvel movie, Madam Web, and to review it. And then the news dropped, the whole cat, like, here's the cast of Fantastic Four. And like I was like, Dylan's the one guy I text right away. That my good pal Kyle Lima, two of the biggest Fantastic Four fans I know, and I just wanted to get both of their like thoughts on it. And we're like kind of all like, we're like, yeah, we'll have to see. And the more I'm seeing it, man, the more I'm excited about it. So I think we might have something good on our hands here.
I've got a
Fantastic Four
really
fans gonna be eating good.
I've got a really good feeling. Like, sorry, I'm gonna get political for a second, but between the Fantastic Four trailer looking very good, the one that was leaked to Comic-Con,
Hmm.
and because America is kind of going through its Kamala Khan. I got a good feeling about next year.
Oh yeah,
You
let's
know,
go.
hopefully America is ready to enter the future
Hmm.
in the way that the Fantastic Four is. The Fantastic Four might be my favorite. Uh,
Team.
Saga is my favorite comic.
Hmm.
The Incredible Hulk is my favorite comic book character.
Really?
But my favorite comic book thing, the thing that epitomizes comic books and what they can be, is the Fantastic Four. They are literally they're uh, universe knots. You know what I'm trying to say? Like instead of astronauts, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like galaxy knots. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like their stories can know no boundaries.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that has been a consistent through the entirety of their run.
Mhm. Yeah. Do both of you guys have a favorite Fantastic Four run?
Um, no, I don't have a favorite. I have ones that I enjoy. I love Hickman's run.
Hmm.
And obviously leading into Secret Wars from that. Um, yeah, to be honest, I'm really just a random comic guy, you know, I'll just go randomly.
Yeah. What
So,
about you, Mario?
Hickman, I feel like is the I don't know if it's the quintessential. When I talk to people about Fantastic Four comics, I say check out the Hickman run,
Hmm.
see what you think. Because I mean, Fantastic Four has always been interesting because it's like, especially with the early stuff, it's just very different for people. Like some people like go back and they read those like really old Fantastic Four ones. Um, but yeah, I would probably say Hickman. I think Hickman might be the way to go. Great art, love that
John
art.
John
Um,
Byrne
Hmm.
is one of the great Fantastic Four creators because he wrote it and did the art himself.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of really interesting cosmic creative stories.
Hmm.
And not to say that any other writer doesn't, but Mark Waid's got a good run on Fantastic Four.
I love his run on Fantastic Four. That's the first full run I ever read. Like, I loved at the end of the first issue where Reed's tucking Valeria in, and like at first he's telling the glory story of the Fantastic Four, and then he just sighs and he goes, "Once upon a time, there was an arrogant fool, and he put everyone that he loved in jeopardy to prove his point, and it cost his loved ones dearly." And then like, it cursed them, but like, and he tried to make amends by embracing these powers. Like, why else would you call someone the Fantastic Four? And like, he would put them into the public eye and in a way make them celebrities because maybe one day they might forgive him. Like it's Reed's like guilt and intelligence all displayed in like one scene while also in like a loving way. Like, and I think that perfectly encapsulates who like Reed Richards is. Like Reed Richards is complicated.
Mm.
Like so many people think he's boring or he's an asshole or or just like an idiot, but like he's complicated. I mean,
If
Ben
anybody
Grimm's my
that
favorite, but I do love Reed.
anybody that enjoys Rick and Morty should read a Fantastic Four comic.
mm,
Yeah,
that's a good call.
although the Hickman run might be my favorite because of like it made me cry like four times. I can recount four times where I cried reading that run.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones for me was when uh two of the biggest ones. One was like Franklin Richards, like from no, it was Nathaniel Richards, Reed's dad, and then Reed go into the future, and Ben survived. Like, turns out the thing can live for thousands of years, and so can Franklin. because he's practically an Omega level mutant and a cosmic being. So, and like Thing lives for like another 5,000 years, and then he's finally dead. And uh adult Franklin, kisses him on the forehead as he's dead and says, "Goodbye, Uncle Ben." And I was like, oh.
And then Spider-Man swings in and goes, "You too, kid, huh?
Although my
I've been
se
swinging around for 5,000 years, just waiting to say that."
although my second favorite, no, maybe my first favorite, because it was the one after Johnny Storm dies. Like Johnny dies and it's like no dialogue, it's all quiet. And then the backup is Spider-Man's talking to Franklin, like who's young, who's little. And he's like, this is the first time like he's experienced like death of an uncle or a loved one. Uh and Peter's just talking with him. He's just like, "Hey, you doing okay? Doing good?" And he's like, I kind of know what you're going through. He's like, did you lose somebody? He's like, yeah, my person that taught me most of my morals. Like, yeah, I lost him years ago. And it's this really sad and beautiful conversation. And it really goes to show you, wow, Jonathan Hickman really loves Spider-Man. Like, because like reading that, like, yes, it's a Fantastic Four comic and it's fantastic, that no pun intended, but you can tell that Hickman really loves Spider-Man. That like he
Oh yeah.
hold like whenever Hickman uses Spider-Man, he tries to use him in the best way possible,
Right,
except for
right.
during his Avengers run where Spider-Man's a total dick. And at first I was like, why is he a total dick? He's like eating people's lunches and then telling him to fuck off. I was like, oh, it's 2012. Superior Spider-Man is happening. So that's not Peter, that's Doc Ock.
Oh yeah,
And no
yeah.
one can tell the difference for some reason.
Hmm.
Like
Well,
not
uh,
even Mary Jane, she couldn't even tell the difference.
it's been a while since I've read any of that one.
But
Well, I'll wrap up here 'cause I think um we might need to start wrapping up in a few, but I'll wrap up with my favorite one-off Fantastic Four story. It's a John Byrne story. The Thing is just trying to enjoy his day off and get ready for a date, and the Impossible Man keeps fucking with him, and that's it. Just goof. It's just goofy. It's just like a Pixar movie. Anyway, that's it. That's where I'll leave it.
yeah.
Mm.
Do you have any recommendations?
Saga. Read Saga.
Mhm.
Read anything by Sean Phillips and Ed Brubaker.
Mhm.
Criminal. Kill or Be Killed. Um,
I think anything by Grant Morrison should be read, like his like their Batman, JLA. Uh, I would also say Animal Man,
there's
and
also some very good Bond comics.
yeah. You know what I also read? I read this last night, and I think you should. I'll give it to you, Dylan, if you haven't read it. It's called God Country.
Yes, I've got a digital copy of that.
It's so good.
Nice.
Like I love it so much.
Jason Aaron, right?
No, it's Donny Cates.
Donny Cates. There we go. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah.
Mario?
And what about you, Mario?
Favorite comic books? I have a small stack. They're all Marvel based. One which I made a video about a while ago because I really wanted to be a TV series. Superior Foes of Spider-Man
I want to
is
read that.
is my favorite Spider-Man book that doesn't even have Spider-Man in it. He's in one panel in the beginning. You see him swinging in the distance. Shocker's like, fuck him, dude. Or maybe Boomerang. But it's like all these sort of like B-list Spider-Man villains, Boomerang, Shocker, and like they're all just like, fucking Punisher makes like a little bit of a appearance, but as like someone else, you'll see. It's crazy, but it's just so much fun. It's like I could see like James Gunn doing a sort of series there, so I recommend that one for sure. And I have a certain affinity for apocalypse stories in Marvel
Excellent.
too. So Old Man Logan gets a huge 5 stars for me.
Oh, not the
Um,
character Apocalypse.
no, no,
Oh,
no, no. But no, just yeah, just fucking Old Man Logan, tremendous story. I love the little nod we got to it in Deadpool Wolverine. got a little respect on it, which is what people thought that Logan the movie was going to be, but ended up being a tremendous movie either way.
Mhm.
Like you can't put hillbilly hulks in that movie. That would have messed up the
No.
movie. But it was but I love that series is so much fun. And speaking of the Hulk, last one I'll recommend is Hulk the End, which
I
is
love that one. That's a great
it's
comic.
oh
It's
my
Peter
God.
David, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Peter David, and it's just Hulk. It was Banner years in the fucking future. It's like him, Hulk, and fucking cockroaches, man. And like, slight spoiler, I guess. Like he's Banner's trying to kill himself the whole time, but Hulk's just like spitting out the bullet, it's like, no, I gotta. But Hulk always wants to be alone. Like that's his thing. He's like, Hulk wants to be alone, well, whatever, and all that. And like at the end, finally, Banner dies. He figures out a way that like he's like, I can fucking die. And at the end, the final panel, it's been like
But
just
Hulk
fucking.
refuses. Hulk refuses to die. Banner wants to die. Hulk refuses.
Yeah, I'm telling the story right now. I'm
Oh,
talking
I'm
about the
sorry. I'm
end.
sorry. Sorry.
Jump the gun there, Dylan. At the last panel of the thing is Hulk. They'll wake up the next morning. Banner's dead. Hulk is alive, and it's the last panel's like I'm paraphrasing, but it's like Hulk is alone. It's only Hulk, and like he's just sitting by himself. That's the last panel. Hulk is by himself for fucking ever, dude. That's it.
And with the realization that if he calms down, he'll die.
Then he'll die, so he has to be fucking angry forever, dude, man. It's so fucking
Foreshadowing.
metal, dude.
He
It's
finally got the piece he wants.
Yeah, but he has to also be a fucking rage monster if he wants to stay alive. It's
And
fucking insane, dude.
and the whole time he's being followed by a probe droid that was left there by an alien that is just like, hey, I'm observing other planets. Doesn't look like anything's going on here except you and these bugs. So leave this droid. It's gonna follow you around and film.
Yeah,
Just
and
film. That's all it's gonna do. Film.
that's what I want to see as like make that like I want to see that like in an animated like short or something, just a little bit, show me the story. But it's like that's one if you're a Hulk fan. I love the Hulk.
I
He's
mean,
Me too.
everywhere.
oh
He's
yeah.
everywhere for me, man. I
I
love
watched
I love him.
I watched a video today while I was working called I don't remember what it was called, but from a content creator called High Top Films.
Oh
And,
yeah. Mhm.
and it was about Ang Lee's Hulk film and how emotional and just
Nobody
yeah.
appreciates that film,
Yeah,
man.
I cried at the video. It was so good. And then I ended up rewatching some scenes from the movie. I love that film so much.
So
That
good.
was what I asked Nicole. She said, "What do you want to do for your 30th birthday?" I said, "Will you watch Hulk with me from 2003?" So,
That sounds like a great birthday, man.
Yeah.
You should do that every birthday. I'll watch it with you because that sounds like a fun time, man. It truly is, man. Like that was I mean, obviously Deadpool Wolverine gave us this sort of they put over the Fox verse and those films and all those older Marvel films that really that was all we remember. That's all we had, guys. That's
mm.
all we had was I remember talking to my friends at summer camp about Ang Lee's Hulk. Wasn't it cool when he jumped and it was so far away and he grabbed the missile and he bit into it? Like it was just like we were fucking went crazy. Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man movies, Fantastic Four, the X-Men movies. Like, man, there's such a good time, man. And now it's so oversaturated with
Mm.
all these fucking TV shows and shorts and holiday specials and
Well,
other shit, man.
as an adult, you realize that those films are not about those scenes. They're not about the scene where Hulk bites the missile.
Yeah.
It's about the scene where, Hulk's flashbacks and trauma with his dad and the relationship between the characters and the moment where Hulk just sits and watches nature
Yeah.
like a baby discovering it for the first time,
The
you know.
MCU would never do anything like that. Would never have the balls to do that. So they're like, let's
Maybe not with Hulk, but
Yeah, I mean they could do it with other, but I'm saying Hulk is such a special character, and I
Yeah.
feel like they don't fucking utilize him properly. It's just like he's a yeah, sure, he's a rage monster, but there's a fucking story there with Bruce and with Hulk himself. It's
I,
just there's so much that you could do with him, but instead we're like, let's bring Scar to a barbecue with Daredevil and She-Hulk. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that's all. Like yeah, obviously with the licensing stuff, they couldn't really do a good Hulk story. But like, I love the Age of Ultron, man. There was some good Hulk things happening there with Black Widow and shit, man.
Yeah.
That
And
was the
uh
most true to the comic Hulk
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I was mentioning that earlier. I think
was when Scarlet Witch brainwashes him.
yeah, I said that to Lex. I was like, I think Age of Ultron is probably like my favorite Avengers movie. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's and just like that was the best villain you had. Great story there with the Avengers dealing with their shit because Wanda's like triggering their brains like Tony Stark's PTSD, fucking Hulk shit, fucking everyone's shit, man. It's like
The
that's
first
a good movie.
the first Avengers introduces you to the sandbox. The second one lets you play around in it a bit.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the Avengers doing Avengers shit. It's not like, oh, I don't like you and I don't like you. Oh, yeah. You want to
Like,
fight?
well, we all like each other now. Let's get shit done.
Now it's
Yeah.
like, let's like that first shot's iconic, man, of them with a slow-mo punch all
Up through the
together.
air.
I love that shit,
Yeah.
man. That's straight
Sick.
out of a book, man. It's so good. So good. I might
Yeah.
watch that tonight when I go to bed. I'm gonna watch Age
So
of
good.
Ultron.
Yeah. But yeah, with like comic recommendations, like anything by Jeff Johns, I think is worth it. Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman. Like, if you haven't read any of those runs, I highly recommend them. By the way, you talked about Ed Brubaker. I highly recommend, if you haven't read it, the Ed Brubaker run on Captain America.
I've
Now,
read some
again,
of it, yes.
yes, I know Sean Phillips is not on the book. That
That's okay. Ed
would have made it a
Brubaker's a great writer.
but it would have made it a perfect book. But I think
He did
it's
the Winter Soldier run.
yeah, like
So he created the character.
yeah, like it's phenomenal if you haven't read it.
Yeah.
The Peter J. Tomasi, Patrick Gleason Superman run is also dope. It the Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo run with of Batman with Court of Owls is dope.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, well, we should definitely do a part two to this.
Oh yeah, I could talk about fucking books for hours, man. Like there's so much like
Yeah.
cool shit, man, that like, people like either have not heard about or whatever. And I want to like, hear about more shit too. That like I'm just like you never hear about, man. Like there's fucking like I love Spider-Man. There's books of the Spider-Man books I don't fucking know about, you know what I mean? And I want to see everything that you can give me, It's awesome because again, so many people are like upset with the that's what I tell them. I said, if you're upset with a movie, go read a book. There's probably a book that does something better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, fuck. If you didn't like fucking Logan, go read Old Man Logan. Maybe you
Although,
like
how
that
could you
better.
not love Logan? It's such a
Yeah.
great movie. It
It'd be
doesn't
crazy
Honestly,
if you
matter.
don't like it.
if you didn't like Logan, you would fucking hate Old Man Logan. Because Old
Probably.
Man Logan is disgusting. It's a gross comic.
Yeah, there's weird stuff.
It's Hulk incest, and
It's
Hulk eats Wolverine, and that's how he kills him.
yeah, I mean, it's Mark
Like,
Millar. What do you expect? But
yeah.
yet he was
Old
very
Man
yet
Old
he was
Man Logan is
sacred
a
with
garbage
Fantastic
comic.
Four. Yet
What
Mark
was
Millar
that?
was sacred with Fantastic Four.
Yes,
Like
yes.
it's not gross. Like there's one or two dark moments, but he's like precious with it.
Yeah.
He's precious with Superman, like with Red Sun, like we know we say like Clark Kent, like oh he needs the Kents in order to have morality, otherwise he'd be Homelander. Mark Millar plays with the idea of well no, Superman's inherently good. Like yeah, he lands in Russia, but he's not like a prick. He's kind to everyone around him, and he's like, well I wish America would adhere to our beliefs. They're suffering, and I feel bad for them. Like even though he's with Stalin, which is bad, but like where he's coming from is from a good place. So I like the idea that like regardless, Superman would still be good anyway. I think that's a fun idea. And well, yeah, like I think look what's weird is Mark Millar is precious with Superman, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and then everything else he kind of like fucks around with. Like Civil War, those characters don't act in character. Like Iron Man and Cap would not choose the size they chose. The movie made more sense of that.
Mm.
But but yeah, like we got to cut this short. You guys got stuff to do. I don't want to hold you any longer.
Oh, you're good.
You stayed longer than you
Forgive
should
me,
have, and
exposing
I
my
thank you so
kneecaps
much.
there.
But yeah, thank you so much, guys. And like maybe we'll do a part two and we'll just talk more fun comic runs. Like maybe we'll talk like more Daredevil and Preacher and Why the Last Man. And
Oh yeah, that's a class. Yes, that is a full run that I would recommend. That entire run. Read that whole thing. You
oh, I
will
also
cry at the end.
recommend The Losers by Andy Diggle and Jacques.
Nice,
Hmm.
nice, nice.
That's
All right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
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 thanks
this is
for having us,
awesome. Yeah,
Lex.
this was so much fun. This is great to hang out and talk about books. Just kind of chill out and hang out. I love it.
yeah. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime. So thank you all for listening to this episode. And uh, I'm currently trying to get all the episodes on Spotify and Apple best I can. And this video will be on YouTube soon. It'll be coming out this Sunday or the next, depending if something happens. But
I don't think you need to say that, considering it'll be out.
that's true. But yeah, thank you all for coming and have a pleasant day. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Oh wait, where can we find you guys?
Thank you.
Where
Let's
can we
Uh,
see.
find you guys?
Connery Curious. You
Yep,
can
over on
search.
Connery
search-
Curious on YouTube. You can follow. We have a big following on Instagram as well, so that's probably the best way to contact us and talk to us about more Connery
Yeah.
Curious stuff and
You can
whatnot. So
find
Instagram.
all of our information on the yeah on our Instagram. Yeah, like Mario said, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff.
Hmm.
All that
All
good
right.
stuff.
Where we
And
go
Dylan and
through
Titus
the film
compositions.
Titus compositions, and you can get a song of yours produced here at my studio, The Proving Ground. Forgive me, I'm not doing a great job of promoting myself. Um,
I put you on the spot, my bad.
no, no, it's good, it's good. Yeah, we shoot episodes of Connery Curious here at The Proving Ground. So yeah, and we've produced bands as well. We've had a number of bands in here do some recordings. I'm a music producer, so come on in, check out The Proving Ground. Also on Instagram and the social medias. We're building our website currently. That's one of the things that's been taking some time. But yeah, come on in, get work on some music here at the Proving Ground, a studio with room to grow.
All
Mario,
right. Well, thank you so much, guys, and see you all next time on the Lex Talk Stuff podcast. Bye.